So this is the deal with love. And I really, I heard it today. This is the deal with love. We are born love. If you've ever seen a little baby, or a puppy, or a little kitten, they are born love. That's why we immediately feel love. Even if you're a crack baby, I always say that. Doesn't matter what your parents did, you are born love. You are born love. And so what begins to happen to all of us after that is what actually feels unnatural. Right? So we're born love, and so we expect love. And if we're born into situations where our caretakers are beaming at us, are loving us, are noticing every single move we make, and loving us, responding to us, right? There's this loop of love going on, loop and loop and loop, and tenderness and oxytocin and serotonin and just in loveness going on. That's a natural loop. It is our base. It is our foundation, right? It is the foundation to our existence as humans. Is that the very first brick, the very first layer as we come to this planet Earth is love. Okay, all right. So what begins to happen if we are born to caretakers who didn't experience love, or who have love that is jagged or broken up, or they themselves were neglected or abused or have trauma, right? Well, then that's what starts to become unnatural. Because what's natural is love. So what begins to happen in these human existence, human experience, is that if we are born in situations where the love loop isn't happening, right, then we begin our search or the development of our languages in order to get love. And what I mean by the development of our languages, right? It could be in so many ways. It could mean that little boys learn to not cry in order to get love. That becomes a language, because then they're like respected or something. Or little girls begin to please to get love. Or we begin to hide parts of ourselves to get love, right? Or we see these modelings because what's natural is to come in and to think that caretakers, this is natural. This is the language we're born with. Is that it must be natural for caretakers to love us. So we can't make sense when a caretaker is abusive, either sexually or physically, right? So we start developing all these languages to please, to run around, to maybe respond to the sexual abuse, right? That's all the development of trauma. So Gabor Mate talks about trauma being the disconnection to self, and I feel like all sickness is the disconnection to self. Alcoholism is the disconnection to self, right? Everything is about the disconnection to self, but if we're using the term love, everything is the disconnection to love. Because at our most self, at our most liquid self with the big S, we are love. And so everything else is the coming home to love, right? Because we begin to disconnect through trauma, through abuse, through what race teaches us, what culture teaches us, what our history teaches us, what sort of we're born into this earthly plane of war, of fighting for love. Because think of it, for so many centuries, right, people have fought over money, over power, over resources, because the idea there is, if I have all the resources, if I have all the money, if I have all of that, then I will have power, and therefore I can buy what? Love. If I have power, I will buy the respect, right? Because sometimes power feels like love. It feels like second best. If I don't have love, then at least I have power. But today I mostly want to talk about sort of how love is what is natural, and the quest for it. And we do all things, all sorts of things in search of getting back to what is natural. In fact, we do all sorts of unnatural things, right? In our quest for love to come back. So most of you who've worked with me know that my whole thing, my whole therapy style is getting you back to self, your original self, your most beautiful self. And why? Because that is where your love lies. Because as a foundation, you are love. Okay? Which is why I talk about sort of this journey to self-love, which is already there. It's already a given, right? It's so hard. Why? Because we're so layered. There are so many layers of unnatural seeking love, right? Maybe if I'm prettier, maybe if I'm skinnier, maybe if I'm taller, maybe if I have a lot of money, maybe if I beat everyone at something, maybe if I move up the ladder, maybe if I'm ultra educated, maybe if I steal love, maybe if I abuse for love, because all abusers, right, were abused and are seeking love. Love. Now, in some cases, it's super distorted, super broken and distorted, which is the way I get love is through power, and the way I have power is by abusing another. Okay? But all of it is to get back to that love loop that we're supposed to have at the beginning, that I give love and I receive love from my caretakers. It's all about love at our core. So all forms of therapy, all forms of self-help, all forms of spirituality in its purest sense are about getting back to the self, because as you get back to the purest original self, you're trying to get back to the self that loves the self. Okay, even finding a mate for life. What are we trying to do? We're trying to find someone who will always love us. Right? So when we talk about, but if I love myself, I'm not going to seek it out there. Then I'm just seeking a companion to play with in life. Some people have children so that they'll always have love. It ensures caretaking when we're old. It ensures also, but really, what are we saying? We're trying to ensure love. Okay. So all of these become skewed ways or unnatural ways, right? Or the language in humanity, in the human existence, all of it is in this seeking of love that we actually are in our original state. And so I find, like, for me, it's helpful to talk about these very lofty spiritual or therapeutic ideals. Like the ideal of self-love is actually that in itself is already unnatural, because we're actually born love. We are in beingness when we are self-loving. Okay, and so even the seeking of self-love, or the coming back to self-love, is a separation already. Can you see that? It's a separation already, because we're actually seeking it. But all these journeys that we talk about all the time, is a way of like, how do I come back to my original state, because I was born love. And for some of us, our journeys got really skewed. And so we just begin to find our way back, and really, right? So Gabor Mate says that all trauma is the disconnection from the self. Tara Brach says that every sickness is homesickness. And the way I like to say it is like, come home. Come home to self, which means come home to love. And that takes a bit. That takes a bit of de-layering, as we say in dynamic, cleaning up, right? Sifting, decluttering our emotional closet. There's all ways to talk about this. But basically, what's natural, what's truly natural, is that we are, at our very core and at our very existence, love. And what's unnatural is this earth journey of thinking that we are disconnected from it, that we are disconnected from love, and so we begin to seek it. Okay? That's what we do in this human existence. All right, thanks. Be thoughtful about that today. Okay?